Okay, hello, George here. Just gonna give it a minute here for anybody that wants to hop on while I am practicing some of my whole brain power training, my ambidexterity training. Gotten a little bit rusty. I took about a month and a half, 2 months off of training this summer, so got a little bit rusty with my whole brain power training, my ambidexterity training. What I do is I have two of these, and I juggle the ball back and forth with the hammer, switch hands, left hand, right hand. It's an excellent way to help activate both hemispheres of the brain, the right and the left hemisphere. What's up? Someone just hopped down here? Cousin Justin. Hey, what's up? What's up? So I'm getting back into the groove of practicing this now. And like I said, I've gone a little bit rusty with it. But anyways, I wanted to hop on. I'm on day 3 of my solid food vacation, my juice fast, my juice feast, and I feel absolutely amazing. I've been slamming down the juice, slamming down post more, you Gary, sup George, post more, you Gary, Gary. I've been slamming down the juice. Have had just about 3 full of these today, plus I've had extra juice that I have in my refrigerator today. So I thought I would answer some popular questions that people most commonly ask me about when it comes to juice fasting, juice feasting. Solid food vacation goes by many different names. First off, when it comes to a juice fast, a juice feast, you don't want to have any solid foods. You don't want to be eating anything. This is a time you want to allow your digestive system to have a break so that your body can go into a deeper level of cleansing and detoxing. All that extra energy that would normally go into digesting food, it will go towards your body cleansing. And so that's why I don't recommend to have any solid food while you're doing this. This is just a temporary experience. You won't want to have any milk products, protein shakes. People ask, oh, can I have a protein shake? Or no, you really want it to be almost kind of like a protein cleanse, a cellular kind of cleanse. And if you're consuming liquids in the form of protein, then what'll happen is that you won't get as significant of a detox effect as you would by not having any protein. So I don't recommend to have any, when you're doing this, I don't recommend to have any kind of protein type juices. I might be the only one here. Hey, that's fine. I actually feel better doing these without a lot of people on here because I just feel more confident. I get nervous, things like that too. So it's cool. I know people will come back on here later and watch it, which is totally fine. So I'm on day 3 right now, and what you'll typically find is that the further that you get into this, the deeper that it gets. I mean, the more energetic and the better that you feel. It's kind of weird. It's like you hit a tipping point at some point after about like day 4, day 5, it's like something snaps and you just feel like superhuman. It's quite incredible. Last year when I did 15 days, I remember by day 15, I felt like I could go forever. I was like, when I feel this good, it's weird. You almost kind of feel so good. You're like, why ever even go back to eating food? I'm already feeling that I've been feeling like that all day today. Like, oh my gosh, this feels so amazing. It's like, I don't ever even want to go back because you just feel like high. You just feel truly incredible. And a lot of people don't get this experience when juice fasting and juice fasting. That's why I want to talk about this. That's why I want to talk about this. I want to help to give advice so that people get this right. So when you're doing this, one of the biggest things that I notice that people do wrong and that they don't get the best experience out of it is that they're not consuming enough juice, the right kinds of juice, what I'll get into, but they're not consuming enough juice, they're not having enough calories, and so they crash. And so I recommend to consume at least 1 to 2 gallons a day of juice while you're doing this. That's what I do. I have 1 to 2 gallons a day of juice. I aim to have between 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day of juice. Again, I aim to have between 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day of juice. 1 to 2 gallons of juice. See, most people that I talk to that did juice fast, juice feast, they have a horrible experience because of the fact that they didn't consume enough juice. And, you know, they think that they can just have like a couple quick glasses of juice throughout the day and they're good to go. Well, that's like next to nothing. And all of a sudden, if you're trying to do this for an extended period of time, you're gonna start to crash. You're not gonna have, at least, you know, if you want to have rock solid energy and you truly want to feel high and you want to feel amazing, then I recommend to get the calories up. And that leads me to the next thing. You know, what are you juicing? I recommend to juice predominantly fruits. Most people, when they do this, they juice mostly vegetables. And because of that, they're not getting in a lot of calories. You know, most people, when you even think of juicing, most people have just vegetables. Crazy doing this now. I just met a raw fruitarian. She won't touch me. Doesn't meet her. Blah, blah, blah. I might have to catch all these at the end here because it's hard to focus at the same time. But feel free to comment and I'll review everything if you're on here. But most people, when you think of a juice fast, a juice feast, they just you know, you think of like green drinks. You're having celery juice, any kind of green juice. You're going to be getting next to no calories at all. And so what's going to happen, if you're doing this for an extended period of time, you're going to start to crash. So I recommend to have the majority of what you're ingesting in the form of juice, to have it be in the form of in the form of fruits. So that way you're getting all that fructose, those sugars that are going to keep your energy levels up, and you're going to feel good. I mean, that's if you want to win. If you want to do this, have a good experience, if you want to win, juice fasting, juice feasting, then I highly recommend to juice mostly fruits. And then people say, you know, what kind of fruits? You know, you don't need to have some incredible recipe, even if it is just, and in fact, you know, I recommend to keep it simple. Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So just keep it just to, you know, even just one juice. You know, even if it's just one juice that you're juicing for the day, citrus is my favorite. If it's just orange juice, that's totally fine. I'm a citrus guy. Citrus is my favorite. So I recommend to keep it simple. It doesn't need to be any kind of complex, complicated recipe. In my humble opinion, the less, the better. So if you can just keep it simple, 1, 2, maybe 3 items at most that you're juicing for the day, keep it simple. Because, you know, if you make it too complicated, then you're gonna have to get all kinds of things. You're gonna be a lot less likely to keep up with it. So keep it really simple. And when you juice, like I was saying, you wanna make sure to even remove the fibers as well. I like to have just the pure juice. That way, I learned that from John Rose, and I know he talked about when you're doing this, in order to get the most out of the cleansing experience, to juice it without even any of the fibers. So I have a strainer, I'll even strain out the fibers. That way it can just have the pure liquids to be able to get the most benefit from it. Now, some people, they ask about what kind of juicer do I use. I have 2 kinds of juicer. I have a citrus juicer, and then I also have a slow masticating juicer. I love my citrus juicer because it is a lot simpler. Hey Anna, thanks. Good to see you back on YouTube. Yeah, me too. I've been on YouTube. I just have other channels and stuff. So this has been the one that I've been least active on. So, but hey, I bounced around. I'm back. But anyways, and I can see I lost the momentum on this channel big time because, you know, my videos got a lot more views. But hey, you know, that's life. Learn from you know, we learn from our failures. So learn from my failures. If I would have been more consistent with this channel, I would have way more views and engagement on it. That's just life. My other channels that I have less subscribers on, I get way more engagement on it now because I've been consistent with those. Momentum, you know, momentum is everything. So learn from this in your own life experience. I have a citrus juicer, which I love because it is a lot easier just to juice and clean up really quickly. Where the slow masticating juicer, I have an omega juicer, which is wonderful. I use that for all my vegetables. It can juice a rock, but it takes more time to clean up. And so I like the citrus juicer better, and that's what I recommend. Because again, we're trying to work with our mind, and if something is too complicated and takes more time, we're going to be less likely to do it. So in working with people and coaching people, I always try to tell people to that we're trying to set things up to your advantage so that you're most likely to win. And if you have a complicated system, then your mind knows you inside and out. It'll find ways to talk you out of it. That's why I like the citrus juicer. And then you're forced to have to juice fruits, so that way you can slam in those calories, which is important. Get that energy in. Now, exercise. Some people ask about exercise. Can you still exercise while juice feasting? Of course, I highly recommend it. Those who know me know that I'm all about that exercise. You got to exercise every single day, no matter what. So while you're juice feasting, I of course recommend exercise, and just listen to your body. What I've been doing a lot, or I shouldn't. This isn't anything new. I've been doing this for a very long time. Is resistance bands. I haven't been to the gym at all this entire 2020. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. It's I just love working out resistance bands. I love working out on my own, and so I love these. This is what I work out, and today I went running for, I believe I usually run between 4 or 5 miles. I did that today, and then afterwards finished up with some shoulder exercises. Just doing shoulder exercises. Did about 25 minutes worth of resistance bands exercises on the shoulder. So yeah, of course, always exercise every day, juice fasting or not. So I wanted to keep this kind of simple. I actually did this pretty much exact stream just on my Facebook, just right before this, and I just was feeling kind of a momentum, so it felt like I would hop on here as well and just share with you guys, see if you had any other questions or insights or anything like that. I'm glad to answer them when it comes to this subject. If you didn't catch on live, then let me see if you guys asked anything. I think this has been kind of a just kind of like not a lot of people on here, which is totally fine. I know people hop on later. If you caught this replay, ask a question, and I'll take note of it, and I'll answer in one of my upcoming videos. Because I'm on day 3 of my juice fast, I get all energetic, I get hyped up, feeling amazing. So be prepared. I'm gonna be pumping out that content. I'm gonna be pumping out that content like crazy, because you get that natural high from this experience, and it's just you feel too good to want to keep it all in. It's like when you feel this good, you want other people to experience. You want to share it with the world. That's why I'm sharing about this. I feel like almost all the problems in the world, if everybody did a solid food vacation, a juice feast for a week, like 90% of the world's problems would be solved, because all of a sudden everybody would just see things differently. They'd be like, oh my gosh, what? I was so stressed out about this, and all of a sudden we would see things differently. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Who I learned a lot about juice fasting is from the man, the myth, the legend, John Rose. Look him up on YouTube. I believe he's 72 years old, absolute beast. And he is I'm pretty sure he coined the term solid food vacation. And he's just an amazing guy, a wealth of knowledge. Anna M., how did the juice fast feel when you were quitting coffee? That was actually what helped me initially to quit coffee, was when I did my juice feast. I believe that was like 3 years ago now. It's just crazy. And I know I did a video on that, it's been a couple of years now, so it's hard to remember exactly how I felt at the time, but I know I did a video. I've done videos on that experience of quitting coffee with the juice fast, but I felt good. When you're juice feasting, I know I just got a flashback. I remember the first couple of days were the roughest, but then all of a sudden, after like day 4, day 5-ish, it was like something snapped, and you just enter into this like God mode where you just feel incredible. And now I'm entering into that quickly. Like I already feel like I'm in that. Like I'm on day 3, and I just feel like incredible. And I think it's because I'm not going through withdrawals from anything. Where when you're going through withdrawals, I think it's obviously more difficult to feel like that. But right now I'm not going through withdrawals, so I entered into that feel-good state a lot quicker. That's a good question, by the way. Any other question you You want to ask while I'm in here? Damn. I think I need that since withdrawals are so long. Highly recommend it. I recommend juice feasting, juice fasting as a mechanism to break addictions. And I've used it to break various other addictions in my life as well. That are covered on other channels, but I highly recommend juice fasting as a mechanism to break an addiction, whatever it is, because the fact that when you do this, what happens is it's like hitting the you know how your computer's having problems, and then all of a sudden your phone, sometimes you just got to turn it off and turn it back on, and when you do that, when you give it a reset like that, all of a sudden it just works better. Well, it's the same kind of thing. Hey, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, thanks. So when you do that, when you give your body a reset like that, doing this, because all of a sudden you're not, this is the reason why I say this is like doing a reset, kind of clean up, because all of a sudden you're not eating, you're breaking your regular programming, and you're not consuming all the things that you normally would. So you're breaking your typical programming, where really most of our life we're just running on autopilot all the time. And then when you enter back into normal eating, all of a sudden you have you're in the process of creating new programming. So if you're trying to, for example, a lot of people will do a juice fast when trying to adopt a vegan diet, or a raw vegan diet, or a new diet, whatever, or or breaking a coffee addiction, or whatever it is, and they find that effective because of the fact that you're giving the system a reset, and you're giving it, the odds are in your favor to be able to create new programming, because most of our life and our bodies and everything, we're just running on autopilot. We're running on programming, and much of the reason why we get hungry, why we crave coffee in the morning and things like that, is because of the fact that's part of the program. And that's why you don't even have to think about it. I'm sure a lot of when you wake up and it's like, you didn't even realize, and before you know it, you made the coffee, you had breakfast, and doesn't even take willpower to do that, because it's just part of the routine. And you want that to happen with exercise, with all of your good habits, where all of a sudden you've created these new programs in your life where you just don't even have to think about it anymore. Doesn't take any willpower required. You just, you get up and you do it. And so when you do something like a juice fast, it's a chance to create a clean slate where you can install new programs into the mind-body connection. And that's why I find this is a phenomenal time to break any kind of addiction, such as coffee, whatever substance that you're trying to break. And your body is also going into a deeper level of cleansing. And when you go to a rehab or something like that, you are, I know my friend one time, he went to rehab, and he had to go into the sauna. They had a treatment where he had to go into the sauna every single day. He was from drug addiction. Because that was a detox method. And so when you're juice fasting, this is like a detox method. This is how because normally it takes a lot of energy for our body to put into digesting, because we're not putting all that extra energy into digesting. Energy is never lost, it's just transferred. That extra energy then goes into cleansing. Then our body can finally cleanse, it can detox, it can clean itself out. The cells are replenishing, cleansing themselves. That's why you just feel good all over. And what happens also is that a big reason why people, and I've coached a lot of addicts over the years and on various different substances. A big reason why people consume drugs, whatever, various different kinds, caffeine, etc., is because of the fact that we're not feeling optimal. And because of the fact that you're not feeling optimal, you're feeling, you're not feeling like you were when you were a kid. You remember when you woke up when you were a kid and Christmas morning, you're like, ha, and you felt all amazing? You didn't need nothing. What happens is we lose that as we get older due to many different reasons. Conditioning of life, ingesting so many toxins, being exposed to so many toxins throughout our life. But what happens is when you, no, I do not smoke weed. What happens is that when you do this, he's distracting me, all these messages popping up at the same time. when you do this, because you feel so good, all of a sudden you don't need all these things. Like, you're just naturally high. It's like you're naturally high and drunk, because all the toxins are out of your body, or at least not all of them, but a lot less. You don't have all the toxic food inside of you, all the extra toxic literal shit inside of you, and because of that you feel better, and so you have less craving to have substances, whether it's caffeine or whatever it is, because of the fact that you feel good. And that's a big reason why that we consume any kind of substance, is because of the fact we're trying to escape that feeling. Behind every addiction lies pain. Behind every addiction lies a feeling that we're trying to escape. And that's all we're after, is a feeling. If you think about it, nobody really is addicted to alcohol or any substance or anything. What we're addicted to is that sensation, that feeling that we get. We consume it, and all of a sudden we get that euphoria over our body. That's really what we're after. We're after the feeling that we get. And so when you feel good by doing something like this, you have less craving to do things like that, because you feel so good. And that's why I'm saying, if everybody did a solid food vacation like this, a juice feast, 90% of the problems in the world would go away. And it's quite common that when I do this, like right now, like today, I think like, gosh, I feel so damn good. It's like I don't even ever want to eat food again, because you enter into that God mode where you feel so cleaned out, you feel so awesome that you feel really good. Let's see some of the questions you guys asked. You ever miss weed? Now, all these questions about weed. No, I don't ever miss weed. I have I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a whole nother channel where I cover those types of things. Why do you ask this about the weed? Totally agree. Was thinking a lot about that today. I guess I should be honest. Once in a while, I do miss it. Once in a while, I'm human. So once in a while, it does pop up into my mind where I think about it. But to be honest, usually the reason why it does is because that's a moment that I'm not feeling optimal. Maybe I'm overly stressed from work, or maybe I've been eating like complete garbage, or a multitude of different reasons, and all of a sudden I start thinking like, boy, sure would be nice to just, get high right now, smoke, remember like back in the old days. So those are the moments that happens. But because I've conditioned and I've learned other ways to just switch it. All right, when I'm feeling like that, what I'll do, typically my go-to is just running. Even if I've already worked out in the day, running is like one of my replacement high. So I'll get out there and I'll just go run, and I just tend to feel better. So yeah, I'm human. It does happen sometimes. I feel like that suffering from big skin problem. Isn't too much sugar to drink? Isn't it too much sugar to drink? Oh man, now we're getting into the good questions here. All right. Now we're getting into the good questions. All right, I want to answer the first one though. Do you eat a lot for those gains? For those gains, yeah. When I'm like right now, I'm juice feasting, so I'm not eating anything. But normally in my day-to-day life, yes, I eat 2,000 to 3,000 calories every single day. But I do train hard, so I train, and I eat predominantly I'm a vegan, so I eat a whole food plant-based diet. I do have some processed vegan foods too, but overall, I eat the majority of my diet as fruits. I eat a fruit-based diet, so the overwhelming majority of my diet is fruit. That's typically what I have I either usually have fruit or a juice, a big old juice for breakfast, and then I'll usually have a fruit shake for lunch quite often, and then I'll usually have a big dinner, usually some kind of a cooked vegan meal. But yeah, I eat a lot. I eat 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day. If you wanna get them gains, then you gotta slam in them calories. So let's see what other questions you guys. I like these now. Getting the good questions. Suffering from big skin problems. All right, I want to answer this one. We're getting these good questions out. Skin problems. All right, so this is something that plagued me for years, and I've been wanting to do a video on this specifically for a very long time, because this is something that that was very difficult for me throughout my life. And in fact, I used to take prescription drugs for skin problems, and it was like, I just felt like I was gonna have bad skin for the rest of my life. Acne all over the place, all over my back, big scars, and I couldn't figure it out. And so finally, what happened was one day I read a book. I forget how I even got this book, library or something. And the book is called Skin. It's one of the most popular books in the world on the subject of skin. And so I started reading the book. And I read in the book about how the #1 most proven factor for acne is dairy, and how like 90% of dairy cases were eliminated just by completely eliminating dairy from the diet. This is before I was even vegan, and so when I read that, I was like, oh, all right. I drink a lot of whey protein shakes, and so I thought, okay, I'll just do it as an experiment. So I wasn't even vegan. I just cut out dairy completely, and sure enough, within 30 days, my skin started to improve, and I was like, holy shit! I was like, my skin is finally improving, and then as I kept going, it just kept getting better. And then what would happen is all of a sudden I would think I'd like healed it, and so then I would start having cheese again and dairy and whey, and sure enough, within like a matter of days, the pimples and stuff would just start bursting out, get these big old things on the back. And so dairy, I had cut that out even before I was vegan, but dairy, read that book Skin if you don't believe me. It's one of the most popular books in the world on the subject of skin. And it talks about there are multiple studies. It's not a book that promotes plant-based eating or vegan diet or anything like that. It's just all about skin health. And it says in there how statistically proven through studies that the biggest factor in skin problems is due to consumption of dairy. And so when you cut that out, just watch as magically your skin starts to improve. For most people, it's worth an experiment at least. Do an experiment, cut out all the whey, cut out all that stuff. All right, so great question. Glad I could answer that. Let's see. You count calories and macros? I don't count calories and macros every single day, but when I'm really trying to, if I'm really like trying to tone up, put on gains, or if I'm really focused toward a fitness goal, then of course, yes, that's the best way to hit your goals, is by tracking macros and calories. It's hard to manage what you don't measure, and so for the most part, I've been tracking and macros and all that for so long, I kind of just know now. But yeah, absolutely, it definitely helps to do that. When I'm coaching people, I always recommend them to track their calories and their macros while hitting their goals. Not forever, but at least it's going to help them. It's hard to manage what you don't measure. So let's see. Isn't it too much sugar to drink only juice? Good question. No. It is not. And so if you're just like I've said before in the beginning, if you're just having green juices, do a juice fast, you're gonna get no calories. You're gonna crash. And so you got to go on Google right now. Don't believe me, and type in, what do our cells run on as fuel? And you will see that every cell in our body runs on glucose. What is glucose? Sugar. And when you're getting that sugar, that glucose from fresh fruits and vegetables, that's what we were meant to get. And so I know this is more in a concentrated form because it's in a liquid, but again, this isn't permanent. This is just a temporary situation. You're not juice fasting for the rest of your life. This is just like either a day, couple days, a week, couple week period. So yeah, you gotta get in the sugars in the form of fruit juices, or else you're gonna crash because you're not gonna have any calories in. So, but that is a great question. All right, what do you think is the best juice to use for the food vodka for a week? You know what? Citrus. That's my favorite. Keep it simple. Fruit, oranges, grapefruits are my favorites, so I love those. How's the alcohol and weed since stopping? Everybody's got all these questions. Weed, alcohol today. I feel great. I was thinking about that last night, actually. It was Saturday night, and I was just thinking about how, damn, I feel good. And I just remember for the longest time, wondering if I could ever feel like this again. And I just remember like a long time when I just think like, gosh, like, well, could I? It was hard for me to ever even imagine being that type of person that could really truly enjoy my life without drugs and alcohol. And so it's taken me a lot to get to this point. But yeah, I feel great, and it's kind of like I've never told myself that I'm never smoking weed again or that I'm never drinking again, because I feel like in a way, it's kind of like a baby. When you take something away from it, it makes it want it even more. But I have just grown to enjoy my life, having a lot of energy, and waking up in the morning, just feeling great. I enjoy having my mind all here. I enjoy laughing more because I laugh a lot more in life. I'm more silly now without all that stuff in the picture. I enjoy having less drama in my life because drugs, alcohol, that causes more drama. So I just have enjoyed, I like playing at level 10, and I consistently feel so good. Typically, close to a level 10, like I'm talking about how overall good that I feel, that I just don't want anything to mess it up. That it's like, because I know if I go out drinking, that's gonna knock me right down. I've just grown to enjoy how I am. It's weird. I've never even told myself I'm not gonna do those things again. And I know I talked about that in a video before, but I'd rather get high and drunk on juices, like and high and drunk on life. Like I have multiple YouTube channels. I know I haven't done as many videos on this channel, but on my other channels I pump out videos. I get high and drunk doing these videos, and I get high and drunk exercising. I love social media because it's an outlet for me to express myself. On Facebook, Instagram, I get high and drunk engaging with people. I coach people one-on-one. I get high and drunk coaching people. I'm a crazy researcher. I love to read. I think I bought like 6 books over the past week. I'm always reading, researching. I like getting high and drunk on research and getting excited about things that I'm learning, like a little, I'm so excited I just learned that. So yeah, so that's why I have no judgment towards people that do and things like that drink, smoke weed. That's all cool. We're all on our own journey. But I like feeling really good, and I don't want anything to mess it up. So that's a good question. A lot of people are asking about that today. Thank you for your answer. Hey, you got it. I appreciate that. I respect that you admit it, man. Well, I appreciate that. I've quit weed and porn this month. Awesome. Glad to hear that. But caffeine will be another time for now. A natural high. Hey, man, I love it. You guys asked some good questions. I'm glad that this started to pick up, because in the beginning it felt like nobody was on here. So that's awesome. Let's see. Now I'm getting all the questions in here. Let's see. I'm new to your channel. How long have you been a vegan? I've been a vegan for over 3 years now. I'm near you by Sarasota. Oh, that's real cool. Sarasota. What's up? You are by me. I'm right in Dunedin. That's crazy. We're real close to each other. Do you still do the Wim Hof method? Every day. Every day I do the Wim Hof method. Tips on breathe. I recommend buy the course. Buy the course. I have links in my description where I recommend the course. I highly recommend to get it, even if you just do it for just a couple of minutes a day. That is a high. I love it, breathing in and out, and you can get high doing that. And if you don't believe me, try it, and you can like trip out. I've done it. I've done the Wim Hof method so hard before where I'm literally hallucinating, about 45 minutes of doing the deep breathing exercise, and all of a sudden you close your eyes and it's like you're in like, you literally start to hallucinate. I remember, it's like one time I was like in like a portal and I seen like a wolf come and everything. It was crazy. So researching the DMT meditation, that's in the lines with that. It's, this is, when you do that, your lungs naturally produce DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is which in like ayahuasca and things like that, and makes us hallucinate, but we actually produce that naturally doing the breathing exercises. And so you can literally make yourself trip balls and have a psychedelic experience doing it, and you feel incredible, like your whole body is tingling. It's like you're having a whole body orgasm. It's incredible. So I recommend to buy the course if you want to have learn how to do it, but you don't have to. You can also just go into YouTube. There's a zillion videos of people showing you how to do the breathing exercises, and you can learn how to do it very quickly. It's not anything too crazy. You can learn how to do it. Well, it is crazy, but Yeah, when is the last time you took caffeine? You know, I haven't, maybe like once every couple of months. I had it when I was on vacation with my family recently, and I always regret it when I do because it gives me like anxiety. So maybe like once every couple of months I'll have it. I'll have like a small cup of black coffee or something, but I typically always regret it when I do, just because I get like anxiety from it, and it's kind of like, oh, and then I feel like crap afterwards. I crash. It's weird. It doesn't give me the magic that it used to. Like at one point I used to do it and it would just make me feel like really good. I just don't get that kind of magical experience from it anymore. Where did you learn about juice fasting? Well, I answered that earlier in the video, but I learned about it from John Rose. Look him up on YouTube. Very inspirational old man. Young at heart, though. He looks better than most people in their 20s. How do you physically feel and mentally? Incredible. On a scale of 1 to 10, I feel a 10. Have you gotten into any breathing exercises yet? I covered that earlier in the video. George is high in life. Hell yeah. How many times do you do the Wim Hof breathing a day? Usually just once a day, but sometimes I'll do it even 2 or 3. Let's see. Can you talk about mucus and cleansing? Have you gotten into any type of sexual kung fu, and what are your thoughts on it? Can it be powerful or not? Sexual kung fu, I actually follow a guy on Instagram, I believe that's his name, Sexual Kung Fu. He's got some cool posts on it and stuff like that. No, I mean, not really sexual kung fu. I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm a practitioner of no fap and monk mode, but I don't know what you mean, like any kind of qigong exercises with it. I'm totally open to learning more about that, but no, I just can't say that I haven't gotten into that. Yeah, you know, no fap, giving up the porn and the masturbation is an excellent way to increase your energy. Typically when I'm coaching a guy, one of the most common things that I hear from people is that they have low energy and they want to know how to increase energy. And without fail, every time I'm coaching a guy and I ask him, you know, flogging the dolphin, jerking it, of course they always are, and I say, hey, you know, go 30 days. Most of them have never even been able to go a couple of days without jerking it, and I'll tell them just to go 30 days without jerking it, cut out the porn, the masturbation, because I know without fail, their energy levels, it will increase, and they'll feel more motivated and inspired. It's not easy, you're going to be, but energy's never lost, it has to be transferred, so you're going to find that you get more energy when doing that. All kinds of questions today. We're like totally off topic from the juicing, but it's cool. I'm having fun. Can you talk about mucus and cleansing? That's a good question. I recommend to read the book by Professor Arnold Ehret, The Mucusless Diet, The Mucusless Diet Cleansing System or something. Yeah, The Mucusless Diet. I have the book. I've read it a year or 2 ago. Phenomenal book. This is a guy from like 100 years ago, and he discovered how basically the behind all disease is mucus. And if you think about it, you know, when we got boogers in our nose, it's mucus. Acne, that's a form of mucus coming out. Inflammation, it's mucus. All the time there's mucus to the brain. You know, when you have bronchitis or pneumonia, it's mucus within the chest. And so behind a lot of our, pretty much all of our illnesses is mucus. And so when you do a detox like juice feasting, then what happens is the mucus starts to the mucus starts to dissipate, and so that's one of many reasons why this is very powerful. But when you go back to your normal eating, you want to be on an offense and a defensive mechanism, that you're not just going back and eating mucus-causing food. For example, dairy. That's a mucus-causing food that's going to just keep bringing the mucus back in you. Do you take any herbs? Yes, I do. I love mushroom herbs. I'll have to grab some of them and bring them in, but I love chaga mushroom. There's actually a site that I get a lot of my herbs from, and they're called, they changed their name. It used to be, oh my gosh, they changed their name, so it messed me up, but anyways, I get lion's mane, chaga, I take reishi, ashwagandha, a lot of herbs. I'll have to bring them in here and I'll show you guys. I'll do that on another video. what is the, hey, I'm headed into day 5 in a juice feast. Oh, awesome, day 5, man, glad to hear that. Have you ever experienced any type of anxiety within the first few days of a fast? Yeah, I have. I actually can remember that in one of my first times ever doing it, feeling that anxiety. I think it was because I just didn't trust the experience as much. And it was kind of like my brain unconsciously was like, oh shit, like we haven't eaten in forever. This is a normal Mayday. And I remember feeling like that. I don't get that anymore. And I think it's just because, you know, my mind trusts the experience more. Because I've juice fasted up to 15 days. So it's kind of like, you know I'm good. Done this before plenty of times. I've dry fasted, water fasted, all kinds of fasted. And so I think it's just more of a mind-body connection of trusting yourself more, which I know might sound weird right now, but you'll get through that part, just making sure you're slamming in the juices, the calories, so that you feel good. Because if you're not having enough calories either, I don't know how many you're having if you're on day 5, but make sure you're getting in the calories so that way you feel good and you'll get through that. I find day 5 tends to be like a tipping point where you tend to just start feeling way better after that. So that's an interesting question. Let's see, I'm 36, phenomenal shape, and always have been. I'd like to try veganism. Cool, glad to hear that. Do you believe everyone can be vegan, metabolic-wise? That's a great question. And yes, I do. I think that when there's a will, there's a way. There's a lot of big, I've been vegan now for over 3 years, and I know there's a lot of vegan celebrities that I've seen fall by the wayside and blame it on a lot of various different things. But it's hard to say when you don't know their whole scenario and you don't know their whole situation. People are always only telling you what they want you to hear. And so I do feel that in some of my things that I've noticed from people who failed on eating a vegan diet is that they are eating crap food, they're eating too much processed food, they're being too extreme. That's why sometimes I get nervous with people that are just trying to be 100% fruitarian or raw vegan, because I find that sometimes being too extreme like that you can fall into that perfectionist kind of trap, and I can see that sometimes that can lead to kind of a trap where all of a sudden your social life hurts as much because you're not able to socialize or relate with anybody since you don't eat any other cooked, even vegan food or anything like that, and that can make you not feel as good, as depressed and things like that. That's why I'm a big believer in also balance. I fell into that perfection trap as well, but I don't feel like it has to be like that. I do eat predominantly, mostly raw fruitarian, but I do enjoy my cooked food and my cooked vegan food as well, because we are social creatures, and that makes it easier to be able to have a social experience with others. Go out to dinner and you can have a vegan burger or something like that, where if you don't give yourself that at all, it can make it harder for you to be able to have even a little social life. I do feel that anybody can. I just feel like when there's a will, there's a way, and you just have to learn more. Just study, research, try more things, and not give up. When there's a will, there is a way. What inspires you in this moment? Do you believe in food sensitivity? Both questions. I'll answer the other one quick because that was easy. Do I believe in food sensitivity tests? Yeah, I do. I'm not an expert on them, but I know I did one like 2 years ago, and I can't really remember the results, but I remember it was, I didn't really have much food sensitivities. It was a very minimal kind of test, but I'm not an expert on that, so I can't really speak too much on that. What inspires you in this moment? What inspires me in this moment? That is a great question. What inspires me is maintaining character. This is always something that I try to focus on every single day. As I say, hey, just for today, my goal is just to maintain character. I just don't want to break character. To me, I feel like that's one of the big problems in our society and our culture today is that not a lot of people have strong character. We live in a world and a culture where a lot of people don't have a value system, they don't have principles, they don't have good character, and that's why we see so many problems in the world. But when you have when you know what your values are and what you value most in life, and you know what your principles and what's important to you in maintaining character, then regardless of how crazy and the chaos and the turmoil in the world, you're able to stay like a rock because of the fact that you have those basic things identified. And so for me, it is just what inspires me is I take pride in the consistency, that I am consistently maintaining character and that I am staying in alignment with my values and what is in my principles. So I just try to keep things simple and living a principle-based life, a value system-based life, and that inspires me. I take tremendous pride in maintaining character. And even when I'm coaching people, addicts, different people like that, this is what I tell them. I say, take more pride in the consistency than the result. Most people are only focused on the result. You know, they want the body, they want to experience a different way. I say, don't worry about that. Just take pride in the consistency that, hey, it's been 7 days, it's been 14 days, you've been clean, you've been, 30 days, you've been exercising. Regardless of the scale of anything, take pride in the consistency. That's how we stack wins, that's how you build self-esteem, and that's how you feel good. So I focus on character development and maintaining character and my values, and I find that brings me a tremendous amount of joy knowing that I maintained character for the day. And if I do that, hey, you know what, regardless of what happened, if I maintained character, to me, that's what's most important. And the other thing on that, the other added note on that is inspiring other people. I get a lot of, I'm a student, I'm always learning and researching, trying to accumulate wisdom, and I believe one of the most important aspects of life is in turn trying to enlighten others and teach others. I feel like those are two of the primary purposes of life, to accumulate wisdom through our actions and our experiences and through research, and then to turn around and to enlighten others. And I feel like that's a big problem with a lot of people, is that they go through life as secret agents. They will learn stuff, whether it's from my channel or other channels, but they don't share it with anybody. They keep it to themselves, and because of it, they don't get as much enjoyment and fulfillment out of life. And when you start teaching, whether it's through YouTube or social media, or even just in your community, when you start doing that, you get a level of energy and fulfillment and enjoyment out of life that it's hard to explain. I found that the universe rewards those who give with more energy and a natural high. That those who just keep everything to themselves, all the knowledge that they're accumulating, the wisdom, the experiences, I don't need to share this with anybody. I'm not that type of person to go onto YouTube or social media and teach anybody. People can figure out for themselves. The universe doesn't reward those people as much. Where those who, and it doesn't have to be YouTube or social media, just even if it's just your children, you pouring your wisdom and experiences into your children, but the universe rewards those that give back. And people that don't have a lot of energy, it's typically because they are not paying it forward and trying to enlighten others. And when all of a sudden you start doing that, it's just amazing the amount of energy that you get. And that's why pretty much every time that I get off a one-on-one coaching call, even if I'm exhausted, I remember it was like a couple of weeks ago, I had a one-on-one coaching call with someone that was an alcoholic, and the day before they had slammed their car into, I shouldn't even laugh, but this person, we've been having tremendous success. They've changed their life around now. So proud of them. But they had slammed their car into their neighbor's house 2 days before, and they really wanted my help, so I hopped on that Friday. They emailed me asking me if we could hop on a call right away, so we got onto a coaching call that night. I was so tired because I was only running a couple hours of sleep, but by the time I got off the call, I just felt so pumped up, and I've had that experience many times. And again, that's what I'm talking about, is that when you pay it forward and you help other people and you give back, the universe rewards you with more energy, more inspiration. And so pay it forward. Don't just take that's why I feel like social media can be such a powerful mechanism to be able to utilize this, because you can express yourself. You know, you can create an Instagram page. Doesn't even have to be under your name. You know, it can be or a Facebook or a YouTube channel or a blog. Utilize that as a vehicle to express yourself, what you're learning, your wisdom, and you will find it's very rewarding. That the universe rewards you with more energy. That you'll so that's just my little tidbit on that. So amazing how this totally turned into all kinds of topics from juice fasting. Is being in nature outside. I'm gonna get off here in a minute because I've been on for almost an hour. Wow, this has been fun though. I mean, my gosh, I like this. I'm gonna do this more often. Is being in nature outside to help in fasting for you? Oh yeah, of course. Definitely, being out in nature, absolutely. It's a very spiritual experience when you're fasting. They say that fasting is one of the most. There's a reason why it's part of all, like, you know, almost all religions and spiritual cultures throughout the world practice fasting, because they say that it's one of the most powerful way to get close to God, to the to enlightened in spirituality. So yeah, absolutely. And when you're out in nature, it just helps enhance that. All right, guys. Well, I didn't realize it's already been almost an hour, and it's getting kind of late here. I didn't think that we were going to go on this long, but I've had fun with this. So I hope you all are having a great day. And if you're catching the replay on this, ask a question. I'll answer this tomorrow. I'll probably hop on like every day just because I get like this natural high, sober, drunk feeling from juice fasting. So don't be surprised if I come on here like every day for this next week. So I hope you all having a great day. Let's make it a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life.